Okay, so I was able to pick up the remaining sets that I didn't have that I wanted, and here is Dalek Collector Set number 1, which I would have reviewed first if the first being MI2 didn't have any. So, yay! Anyway, packaging's all pretty much the same. It's the back where things get different. So, you can see here we've got some Dalek prop history information, which actually you may want to read. Or if not, you can go to Dalek 6388, I think it is, website, and basically read up the same but much more detailed information. But yeah, not really much else to say about the packaging, so let's crack it open. Okay, so here we have the two Daleks out of their box, and if we just quickly take a look at the backdrop, you can see that it's basically the corridor that leads to level 10 control room, or to be honest, basically just any of the corridors in the Daleks. And yeah, really nice backdrop. It's nice that the Dalek sets now have custom backdrops. So anyway, let's take a look at the two Daleks, shall we? So we'll just review one of them, generally because they're both practically the same, apart from a couple of minor differences. So, this is pretty much almost direct re-release of, not the original really, more of the sound effects version, but with some alterations. For one, they have given it a much shinier, more metallic looking silver paint. Technically, it should actually be a little bit duller. In fact, actually, if we take a look in the background here, you can see a Product Enterprise talking Dalek. It should actually be that sheen. But to be honest, I think the brighter finish does kind of work, because it does get, from my experience with these, you know, sort of brighter, more metallic sheens, they do get duller over time. So I'm fine with that. So, taking a look at it from the side here, you can see this time around, like the sound effects version, which I never actually got, the dome lights, if we zoom all the way in, and we can't. Go on, dome lights. The dome lights are actually frosted this time around, which, again, makes them, I don't know, just makes them slightly more accurate, because the dome lights were never clear on these sort of ping pong ball lights. They were always, you know, not really frosted like these are, but they weren't translucent or transparent, so yeah. Down to the MIG section here, you can see the main difference is on the back. In fact, actually I'll show you on both Daleks, the back of the MIG section here. You can see we've got the identification on which Dalek is which. Now, you can actually see that in the story, though it's a lot harder to see, mainly due to A, the lighting, and B, because of the picture quality of it, obviously. So, yeah, you can clearly see the markings. Now, on here, it does look a lot more visible than it actually does in the story, just because the lines are much more faint as well. But it is nice that they have gone to the effort to actually put those little markings on the back. In terms of the skirts, yeah, there's nothing wrong with them. They are the correct lighter sort of baby blue hemispheres, and they have gave the gun the correct amounts of 3-disc struts. Something they haven't got right is when we get down to the fenders. You might be thinking, well, what have they gotten wrong here? And it's here, they've added the dirt, or the scuff marks, on the fender, just like they did with the Dalek Invasion of Earth Daleks. Now, technically, these Daleks shouldn't actually have any scuff marks. In fact, they've went a bit overboard on the scuff marks on my Dalek 2 here, so on my Dalek 1, not really, just very light all around the board, but these shouldn't actually have any scuff marks. These Daleks, since, you know, they were the original props, and all their stuff, all their recording that was done in studio, they should be pretty much completely pristine. There shouldn't be any scuff marks or anything on them, and I did actually watch the Daleks in preparation for this, and yeah, there's no scuff marks or anything on them. They're pretty much the most pristine Daleks that there are, all the way up until you get until the mid-80s, when you get to Revelation, when you finally get some new Dalek props. So yeah, really, these Daleks should be completely pristine. Now, something they have done is give one of the Daleks the smaller pupil. And this is actually correct, sort of. Because there is a Dalek in that story that does actually have a camera lens within its eye that can make its eye smaller and bigger. A lot of the time, though, in the story, the eye is just completely closed, which is really weird. I don't think they quite sussed out how to properly use that lens. There are a few scenes where it works quite well, but interestingly, on this one, they've done it on Dalek 2, whereas in the story, it's actually Dalek 3 that has it. Is there something that really bothers me? No. Something they have done correctly, actually, this time around, that they got wrong with the sound effects one, which I'm still baffled to on how they managed to get it wrong. But they have got the correct number of rings around the eye, which is 9. Although, just like with the Chase Dalek, released before this, back in, I think, 2011, they painted the very end ring, there we go, black. And I don't know why. They've done it on both of them. Yeah, I don't know why they've done this. It should be blue. It should be painted blue. It was painted blue on the original. I don't know if this is meant to represent the rod, but to be honest, the rings should go right to the very end of the eye, and they got that right the first time, and I don't know why they haven't got it right since, really, with these ones. In terms of the articulation for these Daleks, again, they're just Daleks. Eye stalk up and down. The plunger and the gun, again, are very stiff, like stiffer than most Dalek figures we've been having. Though, again, generally, I would rather have them stiff than loose. Although, the only worry is that the plunger, particularly on these, is so stiff that I'm worried that the plunger is going to snap. Although, the plungers are a little bit more rubberier than the original release. The original release was really hard, rigid plastic. This one, not as much. I mean, it's not rubbery like the new series Daleks ones off last year were, but, you know, this one could still very much snap, but shouldn't snap as easily as the original release, which was just a hard, rigid plastic. Though the only worry is that the joint may be so stiff is that it could actually rub the paint off the ball joint, which was very common with Dalek Collector Set 1. You would see the paint rubbed off of the actual ball joint, so yeah. But overall, what do I think of this set? Well, for me personally, it's really nice to actually have another 2 Dead Planet Daleks, or Daleks from the Daleks, in my collection, because I only ever got, I think, two, maybe 3 of the original version, because I think I've got either 2, maybe 3, because I think I did pick up one in a charity shop at one point. But yeah, it is nice to have another 2 in my collection. This set, Dalek Collects History of the Daleks set number 1, actually appears to be the most popular one, and the only reason I'm saying that is because when I went to B&M yesterday, all 3 B&Ms I went to yesterday, none of them had any of these. And the B&M I went to today, one of them didn't have any Daleks X, and the other one had just 2 of these left, one for me, one for my brother, and they also had 2 of the Dark Invasion of Earth ones. So the Daleks X generally are the most popular ones in general. So yeah, generally, if you're going to be picking them up, these would be first on my list if I was only going to be buying a few of them. But for people who missed out on the original release, they are close enough to the original release that, to be honest, I will be perfectly happy with them. And this set is also great for army building, because you can have multiple ones of these and just have multiple Daleks. I do plan to pick up at least one more of these to, you know, start building up a Dalek army. And speaking of Dark Invasion of Earth, I was able to pick up another one of Dalek Invasion of Earth so I can build my Dalek army. So, yeah. But as I said, Ed, you know, these sects are literally just starting to come into being now, because I've literally seen so many people on Facebook and Twitter walking into their B&M, saying that they don't have them in yet, and then just going on eBay and buying them. It's just like, if you're really that impatient, then by all means, go out and buy them on eBay. But Alduar himself actually tweeted out saying that there are plenty of stock of these sects, it's just getting them out there. And to be honest, I thought they would have got more of them in the stores by now, but yeah, apparently they are, according to a B&M staff member I spoke to, they are limiting how many are in a store each time, so basically you can't, scalpers could not just go in and buy the entire store's stock, because that actually has happened before. So, yeah. I don't know how that exactly fixes the issue, but okay. But it is a really good set, and to be honest, I'm debating whether I prefer this one or the Dalek Invasion of Earth set. Both of them are great. The one issue I have is with the skirt on this one, the peel on the eye being on the wrong Dalek, you know. Don't really care about that. Now, in terms of what we could get if they do revised sets of these Dalek sets, which is possible, I mean, they could just go straight on to doing History of the Dalek sets 3 and 4, if they wanted to. But they are going to do revised versions in February, along with a new TARDIS set. With these, I don't really know. I mean, you could do Daleks 3 and 4. I mean, with just the different markings on the back, but that would be such a minor variation. But again, maybe. But the only other Dalek you could really do is one of the Daleks does have a magnet in its plunger. I think actually 2 of them do, which is used to carry the tray. Or there's a Dalek with the sort of, well, it's not a flamethrower, but it's like a device that it uses to cut through the door. But other than that, not really much you could do with this one. In terms of the Dalek Invasion of Earth History of the Dalek Sect 2, well, there are a couple of variants you could do with that one. Obviously, you could do the Supreme with the, you know, full-size iris, and the drone with the smaller iris. You could do that, that's an easy change. Or you could do 2 drones for Dalek's Invasion of Earth, and have one of them actually have the black ball on the eye rather than the silver ball on the eye, because there is a Dalek in the story with that. Again, other variations they could do. I mean, to be honest, if they did just literally mark these 3 and 4 for a revised version, I'd still pick them up, just because they are really nice Daleks. But yeah, overall, these ones very happy with. And also, I've noticed with these ones, they don't seem to have the paint bleed issue that the Dalek Invasion of Earth ones have. The Dalek Invasion of Earth ones seem to have paint bleed more prevalent, I've noticed, in the sets. But these ones, at least from what I've seen of them, don't seem to have that issue. So that's something nice. But anyway, that's it for this review. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.